ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. After this, فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. This time next week, inshallah, we would have entered into, once again, the blessed month of Ramadan, or we would have almost entered into it. May Allah bring it to us with al-afi and salama. I have a sunnah, and that is when Ramadan comes, the last khutbah before Ramadan or the first khutbah, I give it on this topic because of an incident that happened. So this khutbah today is not for the majority of you in this masjid, because most of you are going to fast, and most of you should fast, and it is wajib upon you to fast. But this khutbah is for a minority from amongst us. Nonetheless, they're present. They're upstairs, they're here, and also they are connected to us, people who we know, whether they're in our homes, from our relatives, or whoever we happen to know. That is a khutbah that has to be given every year for the ashab al-a'dhar, those people who have an excuse and they are exempted from fasting. Not only are they exempted from fasting, but fasting is haram for them, and they are not getting close to Allah by fasting. The reason why I give this khutbah is because I took on myself an ahd, a promise, that as long as I'm alive, I'm going to do this if I'm giving a khutbah, because two very close people to me from our elders died as a result of fasting, and I mean as a result of fasting. The doctor said, don't fast. I encouraged them, don't fast, but they insisted on fasting, not realizing it's haram. Haram. It wasn't even permissible. There's no choice. There's some of us during the month of Ramadan, you will have a choice, inshallah, fast or not to fast. You have a choice, some of us. But there are some of us, fasting is haram. It's not permissible. So today's khutbah is for those people who you know, your mother, your father, grandmother, grandfather, your relatives, your wife's mother and father, your uncle, people who are old, or people who have sicknesses that they are not going to become well from those sicknesses, like cancer. It's not going anywhere. The Nabi of Islam al-Mustafa, he told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, la ahad ahabbu ilayhi al-udhru min Allah. There is no one who loves excuses more than Allah. Excuses here doesn't mean where I say to my son, hey, make sure you do your homework. And then I come, I say, did you do your homework? He gives me an excuse and he says, no, I was watching TV. No, I was on social media. That's not the excuse here. I didn't make salat because I was lollygagging and wasting time and watching TV and I was on my telephone, so I'm late for salat. That's not the excuse that Allah loves. That excuse is rejected. That excuse is ghafla. That's a person being irresponsible. It's not talking about that. The excuse that Allah loves is when you don't have the ability to do something. Allah loves the excuse in which you forgot. You really wanted to do that thing, but you forgot, even if it was the prayer. Rabbana la tu'akhidna in nasina aw akhta'na. Oh, our Lord, don't hold us accountable for something we forgot or we made a mistake. We tried to do it the right way, but we made a mistake. Allah loves to give you an excuse and to overlook and to pardon those types of issues. That's what it's talking about. Listen, for the people who don't have to fast. They don't have to fast. And for some reason, the way they think, they make things unnecessarily difficult. Allah loves the excuse. Allah loves Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah loves the believers. And Allah Ta'ala also hates things. He says, sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sallam, inna Allah yuhibbu an tu'ta rukhasuhu kama yakrahu an tu'ta ma'asiyatuhu. Allah loves it when you take advantage of the concessions. When Allah gives you the ability to shorten your prayer, when He gives you the ability to delay your prayer until the next prayer, you make them together. Allah loves it when you're an individual who, because of something that's going on in your life, that you take advantage of the sadaqah that He gave. That's what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said it is a sadaqah that Allah has given you. So take Allah's sadaqah. Hani'an, marihan, just be happy and be easy. And don't be one of those people who you're inside of your head and you're overthinking and you're worshiping Allah in the way that He didn't describe or legislate for you. So there are people who don't have to fast, and there are people who they are prohibited from fasting. They've been mentioned in the Quran. He said in the Quran, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. If any of you, when the month of Ramadan comes, if you are sick or you are traveling, then don't fast in the month and the days of Ramadan, those particular days, but do it and make them up later. These are for the people who are sick. What is the sickness here? What is the sickness? Listen to me. The sickness is not he was biting his nail or cutting his toenail and he got too deep into the cuticle. And as a result of that, it hurts and it's bleeding, and he puts a Band-Aid on and he says, I'm sick, so I'm not going to fast. It's not that. He cuts himself. He says, I'm sick. Nope, not that. That person should fast. That person should fast. The sickness that this is referring to is the sickness that hits us. Like two of our brothers went missing for a number of days. Abdul Ghani, Sadiq, they went missing. Abu Asma. All of these people worked together. When one of them got the flu, all of them got the flu. So what did they do? They stopped coming to the masjid. They didn't go to work. That's the sickness. That if a person becomes sick with the flu or something like that in the month of Ramadan, has a migraine headache, has a serious toothache. He had to get his molar teeth taken out, his molar tooth, and it was very difficult for him to fast. He's sick and he has to take medication in order to manage the sickness. This individual has a choice. The sickness is not talking about the one who was on dialysis, the one who was taking chemotherapy and he's trying to fast. I want to get upset and excited and say, what's wrong with you? And raise my voice. But it's not that kind of khutbah. Do not kill yourselves with your own hands. Do not destroy yourselves with your own hands. Allah doesn't want the person who's taking chemo to fast. Or he has one of those serious diseases where he has given up hope of becoming cured again. He has hope that Allah may possibly cure him, but for the most part, for all intents and purposes, he's going to die from that disease, and Allah knows best because he is the giver of life and he's the giver of death. So the one who is sick, listen to me right now. What's the sickness it's referring to in this ayat? The one who, if he fasts, his fasting is going to kill him. He stops taking dialysis. He stops doing the chemo for 30 days, 29 days. And as a result of that, his body needed that treatment. So he dies or he hurts himself. He really puts darar on himself. If he fasts, he doesn't have to fast. That's the sickness. The second characteristic for the sick person is the one who he's sick. He has a very bad flu. He has a very bad headache, a migraine. And by fasting, the flu is going to be delayed. His shifa, he's taken from the doctor those antibiotics. Take the course of antibiotics, inshallah, after 1 week, you'll be okay. But antibiotics help your body to ward off whatever's going on. He doesn't take it. So his sickness becomes becomes worse. This one shouldn't fast. The third one is that it delays his getting well and convalescing, his recovery from the sickness. If fasting is going to delay that, then you don't fast. Who else is sick from our community? She may not be here right now, but she may be in your house. She may not be here right now, but she's listening on the internet. It is that woman who is pregnant or that woman who is suckling her child. The lady who is pregnant or the lady who is suckling her child. And an authentic hadith for our women who are in this condition, our Nabi told all of us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Anas ibn Malik said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, "Inna Allah wada'a al-siyam an al-hamil wal-murdi'." Allah has taken fasting off of the woman who is pregnant and off of the woman who has a baby and she's suckling her baby. Neither one of them has to fast. Now pay attention to this. Pay attention. The lady is in her first month of pregnancy. It's permissible for her not to fast. If she's afraid for her own health or she's afraid for the health of the child, the milk of the fasting woman, it may become affected by her not fasting. So she's worrying about the well-being of her child. She herself is pregnant, and in her house she has 3, 4, 5 other children. She's fasting, she's cooking, she's babysitting, she's picking them up from school, dropping them off from school. She's going to say, hey, that's a lot to do. Even if I'm not fasting, I'm going to add on to that by fasting. We say to her, no, don't fast. Not that it's haram for you to fast. This woman over here, in the first month of her pregnancy, she fasted and nothing happened. She's built like that, so there's no problem. But she should never say to another woman who's 1 month, I fasted in 1 month, you must fast in 1 month because I did it. No, you're not her and she's not you. Her metabolism and her build is different. She has sickle cell anemia. She has some other issues that fasting are going to trigger a lot of things going on in her. So the woman who is pregnant, or the woman who she's suckling a baby, if she's afraid for herself, afraid for her child, they don't have to fast. Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with both of them, the ayat that we mentioned, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا, anyone in the month of Ramadan, if you're sick, you don't have to fast. He said the pregnant woman is sick. She's sick. She has morning sickness. She's vomiting. She's dizzy. She needs to sit down and rest. She's not her normal self. He also said that the ayat of the Quran, which was the ayat that was revealed in the beginning of Islam when they used to fast at the beginning. وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. The one who has the ability to fast with difficulty, they have a choice. They can try to fast, or they can feed a poor person each day. Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with both of them, said this ayat is also referring to the woman who is pregnant. It's the woman who is pregnant and the woman who is suckling her child. So it's up to her. But I say to you from this member, all of you people are important, and although these people are the minority, they're still our responsibility. They're the responsibility of the member. They're the responsibility of the admin here. They're the responsibility of this masjid. They're the responsibility of every man sitting out there. My daughter is married. Her husband is a hardcore roughneck. And he's going to say to her, go ahead and fast. I'm going to say, no, she's not fasting because of this and this and this. Because some people are like that. And you remember I told you that hadith. Do you want to know who the hellfire is haram for them and upon them? Yes, Rasulullah. Who is the hellfire haram for? He said the hellfire is haram on the person who is easy and gentle on themselves, and they're easy and gentle on other people. Be gentle with my daughter, man. I know you. You're a soldier. I know you, but she ain't no soldier. She's not a soldier. She's a woman who is weak and she needs to be taken care of. Does that mean weak in her intellect? No. She's not built like you. So don't put that stress on her. Last week or the week before that, when I was here, there was a girl who accepted Al-Islam, brand new accepting Al-Islam. We say to that sister and the brother that she married, take it easy, slow down. Take it easy. Your children who are 7 and 8, yes, you should give them tarbiyah on fasting. If they can fast every day, all day, fabihi wa ni'mah. Good thing. But they're going to school all day. And after school, they have to do things. So maybe it's better for them to fast on the weekend or one day on, one day off. As for making them get up every morning and all of that, you know your children. The point is, take it easy. Take it easy with the people. So those are the people who are sick. You have a right to make a decision, and you have to make that decision based upon knowledge. The second group of people that were mentioned in the ayat is the one who was a traveler. Ummat al-Islam. If you are a traveler and you came to Orlando, you don't have to come to this Jumu'ah. You don't have to come to the Jumu'ah. You're going to be in Orlando, Kissimmee, to go see Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, all that stuff, SeaWorld. You came here for a vacation, holiday. You're one of the people that doesn't have to come to the masjid, even if you're a strong, healthy young man. Because 4 people don't have to come to the masjid for the Jumu'ah prayer. So traveling, Allah has taken off of people those things that make it difficult for them. So don't be a person who has a problem with these issues. Number 1, Allah mentioned in the Quran, anyone who is sick or traveling in the month of Ramadan, he's traveling for vacation, he doesn't have to fast. He's traveling to get ilaj, he doesn't have to fast. He's traveling, just going out to travel, provided his trip is not haram. If he's taking a trip for haram or to do the haram, then this is a different issue. He wants to go to Dubai just to hang out and have a party in the month of Ramadan. If he chooses this time, it's permissible. It's permissible. I'm not taking away from the importance of traveling or the importance of fasting. As Allah said in the Quran, وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. For you to fast is better if you only know. But even if the person went to have a good time and he took his vacation in the month of Ramadan, he doesn't have to fast, but he has to make those days up later on. Concerning the issue of traveling is something you should understand. He mentions sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna Allah إذا مرض العبد أو سافر كتب له ما كان يعمله وهو صحيح مقيم. If a person travels or a person becomes sick and then he stops doing what he normally does, he normally prays the prayers on time. He normally comes for salah in the masjid. He normally comes and he's at the Jumu'ah. You know it's from the Sunnah after Rasulullah would pray Salat al-Isha sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would stay on his knees like in the tashahhud, in the jilsa. He would stay on his knees and he would make 2 rakats. He said anybody who prays sitting down will get half the reward if he did it intentionally because he's not standing up. So he wants to do that sunnah and he prays on his knees. He'll get half of the reward of that prayer. But if he is praying sitting down because he's sick, because he has arthritis, because he broke his leg, akramakumullah, because he's doing something, if he prays now sitting down, Allah will write for him the total complete reward of that prayer. Because he's doing that thing now in that way, in that mode, because he traveled or because he is sick. Don't worry about it. The companions of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam all traveling. Some of them were fasting in the month of Ramadan. Some of them did not fast in the month of Ramadan. Those who were fasting did not say, why are you people not fasting? Your religion is weak. Those who chose not to fast didn't say, why are you people fasting? You're going overboard. No, everybody does what's easy for him. They traveled in the month of Ramadan. Some fasted, some didn't fast. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw a group of the companions gathered and he didn't know what the commotion was about. He doesn't know the unseen. He wasn't there. He saw it from a distance. He said, what's going on? What's happening over there? They said some of the people were fasting. It's very hot. So some of them lost consciousness. Some of them doing the trip, they lost consciousness and it's difficult for them. He said, and who are those other people? He said, those are the ones who are not fasting. Some of them were shading them. Some of them were fanning them. Some of them started giving them water so that they can break their fast. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ذهب المفطرون اليوم بالأجر. Those people were not fasting. They took all of the reward. Those people were fasting. It's too tough to be fasting. Now, these people are benefiting you more than you're benefiting yourself. And this is an important lesson in Islam. Don't be a person who your decisions, they make you heavy on other people. The decision that you make in your life, you become a burden on other people. He didn't sign up for your burden. You're his brother, you're his sister, and he's going to take care of you. But you don't put yourself where you become a burden on the shoulders of the people. So by those people fasting, this lesson passed them by. Another situation happened like that. This is critical. A man was fasting and he was losing consciousness. Rasulullah became very upset and angry. He told that man and told the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he was talking to the people because the man was suffering. It's not right to go to the man and start blasting him for something he was doing and he was in a tough situation. He has rahmah for him. This is not the time to get on him like that. He said to the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, laysa min al-birr as-sawm fi as-safar. It is not righteousness for you to fast while you're traveling. Now, someone gets that authentic hadith and they say it's haram to fast in the month of Ramadan because the hadith is clear. لَيْسَ مِنَ الْبِرِّ الصَّوْمُ فِي السَّفَرِ. It's not righteousness to fast while traveling. And some people took this position. It's haram to fast. No. If you know the context and the background of the hadith, you know the understanding of the hadith. And I want to say to the young brothers here and all of you, beware, beware, beware of the statements of the Salaf of how to deal with people. He's an innovator. We don't sit with the innovators. We don't give salams to the innovators. We don't visit the innovators. Beware, beware of taking the statements of these ulama from the Salaf and we take them out of context. Like this hadith. It's haram to fast? It's not haram. It was never abrogated. Those people fasted and those people didn't fast. There was nothing that abrogated that. This hadith has a context. So it shows a very important lesson, and that is, if you are an individual who fasting after Ramadan is difficult for you, it's probably better for you and I to fast during Ramadan, even when you're traveling. Because after Ramadan, it's not as easy. Everybody's fasting, so it's easier. So you have to look at what works for you. What is something that is going to help your situation easier and doable. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى التوفيق والسداد. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلوات الله وسلامه على نبينا الأمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. The last person that we want to bring to your attention, and we save them for last, although they should have been mentioned first, but I want the message to linger in your heads, in your minds, are those older people, the elderly from amongst us. The older people in Islam are a special group of people. They have white in their beards, in their hair. That whiteness is going to be nur for them yawm al-qiyamah. We should do nothing but respect these people in this masjid. Or wherever you happen to see people who are older, even if they're not Muslims. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with a person who goes to Publix and there's an elderly man or woman and he doesn't let them go before them? Okay, you don't have to let them get in front of you, but to argue with them, to be disrespectful towards them, to be rough and tough. And with the Muslim elder, it's even more. Older people, the elderly, do not have to fast. The older person, you are not required by Allah to gamble with your health. Like you're throwing the dice. You're going to throw the dice and gamble with your health. Now, you may be able to get through 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 20 days of fasting. But after that fast, you're going to get sick. And you're going to die. And Allah knows best. And that's what happened to the two people who were very close to me. Now, they had to do what they did because of the qadr of Allah. We don't have any problem with that. We're not talking about that. But to be living right now in 2025, knowing you didn't have to do that, you don't have to fast, don't gamble with your health. Again, that ayah. وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ الْمِسْكِينِ. The one who has difficulty fasting. He may fast, but it's difficult. He's an elderly man or woman. Allah said, all they have to do is feed a poor person for each day that they fasted. The companions, they didn't want to shorten their prayer while they were traveling because they felt they were strong. They said, Ya Rasulullah, we can do it, we can do it. He said, no, we're going to shorten our prayer. We're going to shorten our prayer and we're going to combine our prayer because that is the sadaqah that Allah has given us. So take the sadaqah of Allah. I have never experienced in this masjid or other than this masjid, the masjid giving someone sadaqah and the person knocks it out of your hand. Or he takes the sadaqah and throws it in your face and say, you giving me this, and throws it in your face. But what we saw is that the daughters of Adam and the sons of Adam, they call the telephone all the time, especially in Ramadan. They come up and they line up at that door and they want to get the foodstuffs because they need it. They want to get it from the sons and daughters of Adam in the masjid who gave it to them. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثُلُ الْأَعْلَى. Who in his right mind throws the sadaqah of Allah away? The sadaqah is in your best interest. So don't fast. Don't fast. Our children, who maybe the child is mentally challenged, they call it mental retardation. I don't think that's the correct word that they use today. The child, the person has some issues, schizophrenic, whatever, extreme bipolar, depression, real serious. Don't make those people fast. When someone is sick in Islam, Rasulullah told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't force the person who's sick. Don't force him to drink. Don't force him to eat. Because when you do that, you make his mazaj. You get on his nerves. You make him upset. You go and visit him and you're there for an hour and a half, 2 hours just there. No, you're making it difficult for him to convalesce. The same way Islam tells you, don't do that. Don't make it difficult for him. Don't come to the Prophet's house, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he invites you to food. You come early and you just stay there, and he's shy to tell you to go. You're making it difficult for him. So don't make it difficult for the people who are under our supervision. The blessed month of Ramadan is coming, inshallah. I had a good friend. Before I went to my mother's house last Thursday, I spoke to that brother about 7 days prior to that. And on my way back here on the airplane, I get a call. Yes, you know Abdul Shaheed, he just died. I said, I just talked to that man. That's somebody I know. We're not promised tonight. We're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised another Ramadan. Let's get our heads together in looking at this Ramadan with the niyyah. We want to fast so that if any of us does check out, we'll get rewarded for the niyyah. I can't wait to Ramadan. He says, she feels, not the other way. I wish Ramadan was delayed. It came too quickly. So we ask Allah Ta'ala to make it a successful Ramadan for us, a community-oriented Ramadan. And I'm going to tell you, we are relying on Allah first and foremost, and then we're also dependent upon and expecting your help through this month to carry each other. May Allah make it easy for us and easy for you, and may He forgive us, and may He subhanahu wa ta'ala write us all from those people who are the fastest in the correct way.